Welcome back to the Lords of Lore podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Cam.
and we are the Lords of Lore, and we're going to be talking about the Legend of Vox Machina. Super excited. But before we get into the episodes themselves, I just want to get a little feeler of where you're at with Critical Role. Obviously, we see you donning a Critical Role shirt.
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, me neither. I was trying to find a way to fit my hair into this hat. I wore my Molly Mock t-shirt yesterday, and I didn't want to pull it out of the dirty laundry.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so what is your relationship currently with Critical Role?
It's fairly good.
It's toxic as fuck.
Yeah, it's toxic as hell. I mean, that's another topic, but that's fine. I've actually not finished watching any of the campaigns, but I am almost 100 episodes into the first campaign.
Yeah.
About 70, 80 some in the campaign 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then
wow, okay.
I think I watched the first 2 episodes of campaign 3.
Oh, you're a sicko.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love all of them so much. I'm a huge fan of all of the voice actors as well that are part of it. They're all, and after watching hundreds plus hours of their content, you can easily pick them out of any other piece of media that they're in. It's so funny.
I remember playing the Star Wars game, Fallen Order, being like, wait a sec. Who the fuck is that? Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of all of their work and just what they do with Critical Role as well. They try to breed a positive environment to their fans, and
mm-hmm.
their whole statement of make the place better than it was, kind of thing. Or they used it in a better statement than I did because I'm bad at English.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But
their mission statement is great. It's just kind of too bad about some of the fans, but that's fine.
Yeah, which is the case with everything.
Exactly.
As a lifelong Star Wars fan, I can attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
My relation. Or wait, did you back this Kickstarter?
I did not.
Okay.
No, but
so you're a phony fraud.
I am a phony.
I'm kidding.
Don't even sub to the Twitch.
Oh no, I did for a long time. So it's funny this is a sub episode of our Lords of Lore podcast, which people can find every Tuesday, where Luca, Will, and I discuss some nerdy fantasy and sci-fi things. D&D comes up a lot because we all play D&D. And so I often say on that show that The Rage of Dragons, the book by Evan Winter, is the reason why the podcast exists, because it got Luca and I back into fantasy, blah, 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 eventually podcast. But what's probably even more true is that Critical Role, and more specifically Matt Mercer, is the result of me playing D&D, which then got me to reconnect with Luca, which then got us to suggest fantasy books to each other, which then got us to read this one fantasy book, which started the podcast. So in a long way, D&D is sort of responsible for this, channel and show existing. So it's cool that we get to talk about it now on the show and not just on the segments we do on the normal show. But I started playing D&D because I like painting miniatures and building terrain. I needed a place to do that where it wasn't just things I display in my house and no one else understands why. So I started playing D&D, got some friends involved, wanted to learn how to run the game because I was the centerpiece, not the centerpiece, but the the mutual friend between all these people who were coming together for the first time. I had to run the game. No one else wanted to. And so I found Matt Mercer running Tomb of Annihilation on D&D's actual YouTube channel. And then from there, stumbled into Critical Role. And started with Campaign 2 because the first episode of Campaign 1 is sort of hard to get into because the audio quality is pretty bad. And they're starting at level 10. And I'm just like, I don't think I understand this.
Right.
Started with Campaign 2, got super into it, then went back around episode 30 of Campaign 2, went back and watched all of Campaign 1. So at this point,
including like the first few episodes.
Oh yeah, every
Oh
single thing.
wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
all of it. I've seen. So I haven't finished campaign 2 yet. I fell off of my weekly schedule with Critical Role as
Oh
they
yeah,
did in the pandemic.
yeah.
But yeah, I've watched thousands of hours, like some other diehard Critical Role fans, of these people.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool to see them, in this sort of medium. But yeah, it was different and cool and all that stuff. So I'm a big Critical Role fan. I got my art books off to the side here and all that stuff. So yeah. So without any further ado, let's get into. And I did back this campaign. I think the lowest level.
Nice.
I think I pledged like $10, but I still
That's
had
great.
early access to the episodes and stuff like that.
Cool.
Which I actually didn't do because I was doing other things and didn't have the time. So
Fair enough.
Sad to miss out on that. But yeah, anyways, let's get into these first 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we're this story in the first campaign gets talked about a lot. This General Krieg sort of storyline with this blue dragon and what we later on discovered being the Chroma Conclave and stuff. I hope I'm not spoiling anything for you.
No,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm well past the Chroma Conclave.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see like the origins of that storyline, which turns into such like a huge storyline in the game. What were your thoughts sort of on just seeing like these moments that we hear about but don't usually get to see?
It was dope. I loved it. It was so cool, especially because I was watching their like video series, like gearing up for it kind of thing, like the legends of kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Where they introduced like all of the new actors coming in, like playing some of these like very like important roles, like Kima Vor and Alora and everyone like that. And when they were like, oh yeah, and then we're also going to have this character pre-stream of Krieg played by David Tennant.
Yeah.
And I was like, David Tennant. I was like, that's sick. I love David Tennant. And I was like, wait, but I don't remember this character in any of like the actual show. So I mean, it was cool seeing that and like seeing like the turncoat kind of thing. Or we're going headlong into spoilers.
Yeah. So
okay,
we should say or this is total spoiler territory for anyone watching.
Yeah. And like seeing that turncoat, like I kind of saw it coming. I was like, oh, okay, this character is clearly the red herring. And then
the funny thing was too, like as I initially started watching, like Amazon, when you pause it, it shows you like the names of all the characters and stuff, which I know, like especially for Wheel of Time and stuff, which if people want to see, we did reviews of those as well, but it sort of gave spoilers. But because I have such an extensive knowledge of the first campaign, I'm like, I think I'm fine. And so when that character's Sir Fitz or whatever his name is, Finns or I can't remember.
I think Fitz, yeah.
Fitz, yeah. He I wasn't familiar with that character, and I was like, oh, so this is obviously going to be the bad guy, like you're saying, the red herring. And then when they start saying General Krieg's name more often, I'm like, I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Where have I heard? And I was like, oh shit, it's him. So yeah, it wasn't much of a plot twist for me because I saw it coming, but it was still cool that like, we experienced the characters. It felt so much like watching a D&D game. Whereas, as the dungeon master, you're like, I'm gonna make them think it's this guy, and then they're all gonna feel like jerks.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like a big thing of the first 3 episodes. It felt, like you got the comedy that comes from like sitting around a table playing D&D, where like you're making jokes and shit like that, and then also like you get those like real moments where it's like, then he just like runs him through with a sword, and you're like, oh damn, or Grog cuts a dragon's head in half,
Yeah. So it was one of the things that like I think was a little bit jarring for me at first, because I feel as though Critical Role and like this group of people and the game they play is so serious. And for you and I just came off of reading Kith and Kin, which the comedy is less there than I think any other Critical Role project.
Definitely.
And it's the tone is very serious. There's cursing and all that stuff that makes it feel like home. And obviously, I listen to it on Audible, so you get Liam and
Laura
doing their characters. So It was cool that way. And so it felt like you were in the universe, and then to come to
Mhm.
something like this that was like so jovial, it was
Oh
like
yeah.
at first it was a little bit jarring. I was like, oh whoa, this is different than I imagined it while they're playing. Because
Mm,
I'm always like a high fantasy
definitely.
first type of person. But
Yeah.
as the episodes went on, I sort of just like got into it. And yeah, like there was a part I think in the first episode where Scanlan's singing the song about the Legend of Vox Machina, and it
Yes.
switches to like these fucking 808s and sub bass line, and he starts rapping, and I was like dying laughing. I'm like,
Oh my
this is
God. That was
stupid.
yeah. The
Man with the purple
funniest shit.
hand. Oh, I love
Which
Scanlan.
I really hope that like all of Scanlan's songs are gonna get released onto like
Oh,
Spotify. Like that would be so
yes,
good.
yes, yes, make
Like
it
give
happen.
Sam Riegel that fucking platform.
Oh my
Just
God, yeah.
because
I was actually scared going into it because the first, like, Scanlan's one of my favorite characters of all time in fantasy.
Mhm.
Uh, as you know, we play in an RPG game of superheroes, where I play a pop punk star, definitely inspired by the fun that Sam Riegel had at the table playing Scanlan.
Oh yeah.
Because I love to just throw pop punk songs and change the context of them. But I was scared that because they couldn't use those copyrighted songs in the show, that like some of the magic and him being able to flavor things into like a fantasy world was just like one of the funniest parts, where it's like Scanlan sing a song and he's got something off the top of his head
God,
that
yeah.
fits perfectly. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to lose that. But so far I've been loving the songs that he sings.
The
What's
the
the one
one
at
about
the
the magic beads.
yeah. Yeah.
The
It plays
magic
at the
beads of
end of
love.
the third episode too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So fucking good. Do you have a favorite campaign one character?
Um, yeah, I love all the characters so much in the first campaign, but like I think top spots are either Scanlan or Vax,
Oh
just
wow,
because
okay.
like I'm a sucker for like
Polar opposites.
oh yeah, I'm a sucker for like just like those dark characters of like broodiness, mainly because I find them hot, as well as like
Yeah,
he's
Max is so hot in the show, man.
oh my God, everyone's so hot in
With
this
the when he
show.
when he went to the dinner with the little get up. Yeah, by King.
Oh my God, yes. I was having a moment. My friends are like, stop. But no, yeah, like I love, and it's definitely because like later on in like the show that hopefully we're gonna see, because like I mean what, it's picked up for 3 seasons already, this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Like
yeah, if not three, then two for sure.
yeah, two for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, just all of like those moments later on in the show that we're gonna see like brought to life in like animation form,
Mhm.
which is probably the best form for this type of show.
Yeah.
Like I think animation is so like underutilized in like the like more young adults, like adults kind of genres kind of thing. Like they do it really well with Invincible, which is also on Amazon Prime,
Mhm.
which clearly they went, okay, we can go
Yeah.
nuts with some of like the gore
Yeah,
and stuff. Like
for sure.
which and it's great because you get those moments of just crazy D&D stuff where you're like, oh yeah, just like lob off a head and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah. Anyways, back to your question. Yeah, Scanlan and Scanlan and Vax are probably up there for
Yeah.
Percy's also great.
I love Percy. I was gonna say like,
Percy's so
and
good.
in the show, um, like I don't know, watching the game, I love Percy because like that story gets so dark and so deep into what we're about to see with the Briarwood arc.
Mm,
And that moment in the game where he returns to Whitestone, and I can't remember what the butler of the house is, and Percival von Musil Frederickstein Dorello, blah blah blah. I
yeah.
used to know it, but I don't anymore. That moment when Matt sort of repeats that back to Taliesin, who's been saying it for the last however long, it was like
Yeah.
so cool, and like I was like, damn, this show fucking slaps.
Right.
But in this show, I'm like, man, they captured Percy like so well. Just the way he looks, but also
Yeah.
just like who he is. Because obviously, like when we're turning a 4-hour long game into a 25 to 30-minute animation, you have to take like the most important elements and get them in there, because we don't get like the I hope at one point we get the life needs things to live quote in some form or fashion.
Yes.
Even if you don't see that arc, but like the important parts of these characters are what needs to maintain when we adapt it. So I think they've done like a perfect job with Scanlan and Percy. Vax'ildan, like everyone is great. And I actually seeing Keyleth in this light is so different for me, because I love Marisha but especially like I love Marisha's comedy at the table, and just like because she's such like a weird person. I mean that in like the most endearing way. Like she brings like such like a weird sort of vibe to the table, which like changes the dynamic. And in this, it's very much like she's like anime protagonist, like which is sort of different than how she gets played at the table. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I really like this sort of version of that, and that she is so powerful. Maybe the most powerful amongst them. So it was cool to see her like in a different light, I guess.
Which it's interesting because we're not seeing like a Tiberius, which we don't talk about really.
We don't talk about
Tiberius. We don't talk about him. But like that was Keyleth's like main kind of like foil into the group, was like
That's true,
this leader. So like there are definitely moments in the first 3 episodes where you kind of feel like, oh, Keyleth is just kind of like off to the side right now, which she will like get into like her spotlight parts, I imagine, because like those parts are sick. Like, and like Keyleth is such a fun character, and the way that she made her was just like, I don't know these people very well, so like I'm not going to give her very high charisma and stuff because I don't want to be like talking too much. And you definitely see that. Like, look at the characters like facial expression there. It's like the furrowed brows, like just worried constantly kind of thing. And so I'm definitely excited to see like where these characters grow. That was a few of my friends who haven't seen the first campaign at all. They felt as though they didn't have enough insight into some of the characters. Like right off the bat, it was kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm missing something, where it's like they haven't been like properly introduced. It's like with Pike and the Everlight and stuff like that. Like, why does she have this such strained relationship
D&D,
with her
baby?
Exactly. Which was what I was thinking before I was going to bed last night. I was like, oh man, I wish I had thought of this like when my friends were talking about this, because it's like you don't just like go into a D&D campaign and go, oh, here's my entire backstory and like
8 pages of
just like, okay,
before we begin.
This is where I was born, this is who I am. Like, so it's great. And I love that we're seeing that with Percy's character as well, because like it was literally right before we started the 3rd episode. So like the introduction of the Briarwoods, where me and my roommate Gab are like looking at each other being like, oh damn, it's them and they're hot, cool. And
I remember that in the game, like a similar line that Vax says, like, oh, you guys are so handsome, what the fuck.
You're a handsome couple. And so it's cool seeing the first step of like No Mercy Percy as well, where he like just grabs the like stagecoach guy and like interrogates the hell out of him.
Oh yeah, I forgot that scene happened in game. And
to
see it, I was like, oh my god,
your soul is forfeit.
You fool, your soul is forfeit. Oh my god, it's so good. Just like, obviously, like we know these people are voice actors, but to see them like, they're great role players, but to see them like in their element, like it's just so like, oh, this is why you guys are so successful. Like, you're really good at this,
man. It's like, damn. Share some talent with the rest of us, all right?
Did you see the Tusk Love
I
cameo?
did, yes. That was so cute in Gilmore's shop, seeing
Yeah.
Jester and Ford on the cover art.
Okay, so I'm an asshole.
Oh,
And
okay.
anytime something like this happens, and I know it's a cameo and I know it's for us fans, but I'm like, canon. Like, there's no
It's
way it's gonna
yeah,
was Tusk Love even released at this point in time?
right,
Why would Chester Ford be on the cover? I'm just like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a
right.
show about a D&D game. Like, there's so many
Also,
levels of this doesn't matter where
yeah.
I'm still like, wait a sec.
Also, the fact that Matt voices so many just like background characters,
Yeah.
it's so fun hearing him, as well as like one of them is just like literally his face
Yeah.
animated and like just pops
The
up in the
co-check guy.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess yeah, he's in that scene where Scanlan and Grog are looking for fins kind
Yeah.
of thing with the ale barrel. He puts it down,
Oh,
and that's Matt too.
is he also the guy that Scanlan pees on?
Yes, he is.
Oh my, oh, okay, he's that character. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember like the co-check guy, and I was like, hey, and then they just they just throw him or something. He's like, you just hear him do his like, take 5 grunt. Can we get a little bit more intense this time? Ugh,
Yeah.
Um, do you have any thoughts on any of the added cast to the group? Obviously, I love Kari Payton. Kari Payton was one of the people who came onto Critical Role, and I was like doing the Leo DiCaprio thing where I'm like, wait a sec,
Yeah.
it's Cyborg.
Oh yeah. I love Kari Payton. He's a phenomenal voice actor, and yeah, when he joined on for campaign 2 for that extended guest appearance, like it was so he did so well with his character, and I'm very happy that they brought him on. Same with Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto,
Right.
because we talked about that, playing Lady Kima Vor, which love that we're casting a bisexual as a queer person in the universe.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I love so far all of the extended cast. David Tennant, which I brought up earlier on, like huge Doctor Who fan in my like mid-teens, late teens kind of thing. So hearing him talking was wonderful. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm excited. We have a Hobbit in the show as well coming up. Like, I think the actor for Pippin, I don't know. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna get flamed in the comments.
Dominic, I think.
Yes, Dominic.
Yeah, he's also in Star Wars.
Yeah, he's gonna be showing up as a character later on. I'm not 100% sure who it is. Felicia Day having her little cameo as one of the guards that gets immolated by the
right.
Yeah, which it's
so
nice.
Those scenes were brutal.
Oh my god, yeah. And yeah, it's so nice seeing Felicia Day have that like little cameo, because she was
responsible
the start of Critical Role.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for just more of the dynamics with the extended cast as well.
Yeah, I was super happy that Matt is still Silas, because he's so menacing and creepy and weird. Like, I will admit, like at first, like I have to get adjusted to having new people voice those characters that have always been Matt. Like even like Kima, I'm like, like that voice is so different. I like it better, but it's different, and it's like, and even like a Laura, I'm like, oh man, like it's not a Laura, but it is. I just gotta get used to it. Yeah. Hey, wait a sec. As we sort of wrap up here, is there? I guess I want a scene from the first 3 episodes that was your favorite thus far, and also what you're looking forward to the most and seeing and what we know is coming with the Briarwood arc. Is there a specific moment or something? And if it's not, the answer is not Scanbo, then why is that answer wrong? But
oh my god, gosh, yeah. Probably my favorite scene. It wasn't even like an action scene. It was that dinner table scene where Percy's just staring daggers into the Briarwoods the entire time, and like the rest of the party are just like, hey Percy, are you good? Percy, you good? And then him putting on the plague doctor's mask and doing your soul as forfeit was a very, very pleasing moment. And yes, oh my god, Scambo is gonna be a highlight of the show. I think a lot of people are gonna just immediately fall in love with that character if they haven't already, because it's Sam Riegel, and Sam Riegel can't make a bad character.
Yeah, very true.
And but I'm really excited. I think I have a gut feeling of where I think the season finale is gonna go, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, and I also don't want to spoil it for a lot of people. But yeah, I'm very excited for maybe that scene.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm obviously looking forward to Scambo, like I mentioned before. It's one of the moments. Like I know, like running my own D&D games, I had a bard player and felt so like, because at low levels, you know, it's a little bit different than how we see Scanlan now. And I was just like, just watch this scene. Just this is what you're capable of. You know, you don't have to do it this way, but like, you know, bards aren't useless. You have your utility, and you know,
oh my god.
And that scene for me is just super fucking dope because I don't know, in the game it was just wild. So yeah, I guess it's hard to be mindful of spoilers of like people who are watching the show and have seen the show but also haven't seen the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think a little scene I loved a lot was Pike doing and I don't know if they can use the spell names from D&D. I think that might be a little bit. So like her like blessing Vax's arrow, it felt like very like guiding bolt. You know, and I was like, oh man, that's so fucking cool. I love that they're doing that.
Also seeing how many times Percy's gun jams, because that was a huge thing of the first
natural
campaign.
One. So I so far I'm absolutely loving the show. It's lived up to the hype for me. Although the tone for me was a little bit jarring at first, soon fell into it, and I'm just happy to be back with these characters and seeing it opposed to hearing it, I guess, for the first time. So I'm excited to see what comes next.
Me too.
If people want to chat you up or follow you on social media, where can they do that?
Instagram at Why So Chappy, Twitter at Cham Catman. Kind of anywhere there. Follow me. You know,
nice.
Let's chat, I guess.
People can look out soon. We're going to do a review of Kith and Kin, the novel, which we still need to get to. People want to check this show out, do so every Tuesday. We got our main show, and you can check out our reviews of the Book of Boba Fett show with myself and Talib, and be prepared for some Dune ruminations, some Kith and Kin ruminations, all that sort of fun stuff. And you can check us reviewing this show every time it comes out. We don't know about the schedule yet. So at some point after these episodes come out, you can hear us talk about them. As always, I am Matt.
And I'm Cam.
And we are the Lords of Lore.
You don't need to add music, right? Just add that.
Yeah.